Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodhya Kanda, Book number 2, Sarga 36, Roman numerals, XXXVI 36, Siddhartha's speech. Ikshvaku's son, with anguish torn, for the great oath his lips had sworn, with tears and sighs of sharpest pain, thus to Sumantra spake again. Prepare thou quick a perfect force, cars, elephants, and foot and horse, to follow Raghu's scion hence, equipped with all magnificence. Let traders with the wealth they sell, and those who charming stories tell, and dancing women fair of face, the prince's ample chariot's grace. And on all the train who throng his courts, and those who share his manly sports, great gifts of precious wealth bestow, and bid them with their master go. Let noble arms and many a wain, and townsmen swell the prince's train, and hunters best for woodland skill their places in the concourse fill, while elephants and deer he slays, drinking wood honey as he strays, and looks on streams each fairer yet, his kingdom he may chance forget. Let all my gold and wealth of corn with Rama to the wilds be borne, for it will soothe the exile's lot to sacrifice in each pure spot, deal ample largesse forth and meet each hermit in his calm retreat. The wealth shall Rama with him bear, Ayodhya shall be Bharat's share. As thus Kakuchta's offspring spoke, fear in Kaikeyi's breast awoke. The freshness of her face was dried, her trembling tongue was terror-tied. Alarmed and sad, with bloodless cheek, she turned to him and scarce could speak. Nay, sire, but Bharat shall not gain an empty realm where none remain. My Bharat shall not rule a waste, reft of all sweets to charm the taste. The wine cup's dregs all dull and dead, whence the light form and life are fled. Thus in her rage the long-eyed dame spoke her dire speech untouched by shame. Then answering Dasharatha spoke, why, having bowed me to the yoke, dost thou, most cruel, spur and goad? Who me who am struggling with the load? Why didst thou not oppose at first this hope, vile queen, so fondly nursed? Scarce could the monarch's angry speech the ears of the fair lady reach, when thus with double wreath inflamed, Kaikeyi to the king exclaimed, Sagar, from whom thy line is traced, drove forth his eldest son disgraced, called Asamanj, whose fate we know, thus should thy son to exile go. Fine on thee, dame, the monarch said. Each of her people bent his head, and stood in shame and sorrow mute. She marked not bold and resolute. Then great Siddhartha, inflamed with rage, the good old counselor and sage, on whose wise rede the king relied, to Queen Kaikeyi thus replied. But Asamanj the cruel laid his hands on infants as they played, cast them to Saraju's flood and smiled, for pleasure when be drowned a child. The people saw and furious sped straight to the king his sire and said, Choose us, O glory of the throne. Choose us or Asamanj alone. Whence comes this dread? The monarch cried. And all the people thus replied, In folly, king, he loves to lay fierce hands upon our babes at play, casts them to Saraju's flood and joys, to murder our bewildered boys. With heedful ear, the king of men heard each complaining citizen. To please their troubled minds he strove, and from the state his son he drove. With wife and gear upon a car, he placed him quick and sent him far. And thus he gave commandment he shall all his days in exile be. With basket and with plough he strayed o'er mountain heights through pathless shade, roaming all lands a weary time, an outcast wretch defiled with crime. Sagar, the righteous path who held, his wicked offspring thus expelled. But what has Rama done to blame? Why should his sentence be the same? No sin his stainless name can dim. We see no fault at all in him. Pure as the moon, no darkening blot on his sweet life has left a spot. If thou canst see one fault and one, to dim the fame of Raghu's son, that fault this hour, O lady, show, and Rama to the wood shall go, to drive the guiltless to the wild, truth's constant lover undefiled, would by defiance of the right the glory and of Indra blight. Then cease, O lady, and dismiss thy hope to ruin Rama's bliss, or all thy gain, O fair, O fair of face, will be man's hatred and disgrace. Wow. Heavy. Footnotes 131.8. See Book 1, Canto 39. An Indian prince in more modern times appears to have diverted himself in a similar way. It is still reported in Belgium that a paid daisy was wont to amuse himself by making several young and beautiful women stand side by side on a narrow balcony without a parapet, overhanging the deep reservoir at the new palace in Nipani. He used them to pass along the line of trembling creatures, and suddenly thrusting one of them headlong into the water below. He used to watch her drowning and derive pleasure from her dying agonies. History of the Belgium District by H. J. Stokes, MSc. Wow, heavy chapter. Basically, Dasharatha wants to send all his wealth with Rama. Kaikeyi is not happy about that, and she started philosophizing as if is irrelevant. She started talking about Sagara and his son Ansumanj, who was a true criminal, and that's why King Sagara, expelled him for life, not for 14 years, but for life. So she brought that argument, which is completely out of place, and then Siddhartha, King Dasharatha's counselor, he intervened and just told her, look, you can't compare Asamanj, who is a true criminal, to Rama. You can't do that. So anyway, heavy exchanges here. We can just see how much Dasharatha loved Rama. Absolutely loved Rama. And he wanted to give Rama, to take with him all the wealth of Ayodhya. Like, all the wealth be loaded onto bullock carts, elephants, horses, mules, and just taken by Rama to the forest. Absolutely amazing. Beautiful. Ramayana ki jai. Jai Ram. Jai Shri Ram. Roma Victor. Ciao.